Hi, welcome to Love Saranghae with Peter and Andrea. In the next 30 minutes, we'll take you on a journey into the exciting world of entrepreneurship, relationships, and the secrets behind achieving that coveted glow. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome. Hello, and this is Love Saranghae podcast with Peter
and Andrea.
With your hosts Peter Lee and Andrea Murad. And today is another episode of Skincare Q&A consultations where customers email us and we answer their questions here on the podcast. So there's two questions here on the docket, and Andrea will answer the first one. The first one comes from customer. Her name is Elsa V. Skin type is sensitive, oily. Primary skin concern is cystic acne, and her skin stage is premature, which is 19 to 24 skin stage. And she writes, "Hi Saranghae, I have very sensitive skin and painful acne breakouts under my skin. It hurts a lot and I don't know what else I can do to get rid of this. It's been exhausting. I heard that Korean skincare routines can help me, but I don't know where to start. Can you help?" Andrea, can you help Elsa?
For sure. First of all, Elsa, thank you so much for writing in. This is a very challenging concern, so I'm sending you love. Cystic acne, for those who don't know what it is one of the most severe forms of acne that can occur. And it occurs when bacteria enters the pores of your skin and gets trapped with the sebum and the dead skin cells. So because the boil-like inflammation, so cystic acne can cause inflammation that tends to look like boils on your skin, but it's under the skin, which is why it's so painful. It's one of the most difficult skin conditions to treat. So because cystic acne has a very high chance of scarring, if not treated properly, and the treatment process is also very specific to the patient. It's really imperative, Elsa, that you speak with a trusted dermatologist. We highly recommend that you find someone in your area that you think will be able to help you best, and then they can treat you properly from that perspective. But from our perspective, from the Korean beauty perspective, this is what our recommendation would be for cystic acne. The first step is to cleanse properly and exfoliate. Cleansing twice a day, exfoliation once a day. But we suggest using the soft thistle facial brush for a gentle and light exfoliation, no harsh exfoliants. And I would recommend using our nourishing and moisturizing oil and foam cleanser with that facial brush.
Now, Andrea, can you explain why the double cleanser is important in this case?
Yes, so it's a good question. The sebum is an oil. So the sebum that you find in your skin is oil. And to cleanse out that oil, you have to bind it with another oil, which is our oil, a moisturizing oil.
Because water and oil don't. That's right, because water and oil don't mix.
That's right. So the oil residue that is now on your skin from using that oil and cleansing that sebum now needs to be rinsed away, and that's where the foam part of the cleanser comes in. So together, you're binding the oil and then you're rinsing it away instead of binding the oil and keeping it all on your skin, which can further clog the pores.
Yeah, and the light exfoliation from the soft thistle facial brush kind of accelerates that process with physical vibration.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So step 2, we recommend to remove the trapped sebum and dead skin while neutralizing bacteria. You can do this with an AHA/BHA liquid exfoliant. An AHA, another example of an AHA is like a lactic acid, which is a water-soluble and is recommended for surface-level exfoliation. Great for exfoliating dead skin on the surface. A BHA, a salicylic acid, is oil-soluble and penetrates deep into the pores to bind the sebum. We need both for a very thorough exfoliation, especially in the cases of acne.
Nice.
So step 3, we suggest to calm the inflammation. So acne is essentially inflamed skin. So now the skin is in an inflamed state. We need it to calm down, else it will end up breaking out more and causing scarring and further acne. So what do? We like to use snail mucin. Peter, do you want to tell us a little bit more about what snail mucin can do for the skin?
Yeah, so snail mucin is like the quintessential K-beauty ingredient, and we're launching our snail mucin serum in about, actually starting today, I guess 4 to 5 weeks, so we're very excited about that. Snail mucin or snail excretion serum is basically you stimulate the snails with certain type of foods, and they will excrete their slime. It's snail slime. And there's actually farms out in Italy and in Korea, a couple other countries, and they will harvest that slime raw and would be used for various ingredient purposes, but for K-beauty purposes, it'll be used for skincare ingredient and skincare serums. The reason why it's so powerful is because nobody actually knows the actions of what's going on, but it seems to be one of the most effective in healing the skin when the skin is inflamed and or it's been damaged. So it's really, really great for that purpose. And it's a multi-purpose serum. So you can use it before or after acids or treatments, and it works really, really well.
It works quickly too. That's something that we also noticed, that most skin treatments do not work quickly. It takes time and consistency. But with the snail mucin, it's almost overnight where you notice a difference in the reduction of inflammation.
Yeah. So if you look at skincare products, they kind of generally fall into 2 categories. One is inflammatory, so things like acids, exfoliants, they're all very inflammatory by nature. And then you have anti-inflammatory or skin healing, and you kind of use both in combination to solve skincare concerns. And snail mucin belongs in the anti-inflammatory healing category.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on to step 4. Which is to help regenerate the new skin and protect for skin equilibrium or balancing. So a foundational skincare serum and cream combo will do. Please remember to choose non-scented products because the scent in all products is essentially a chemical that is irritating and aggravating to your skin.
Yeah, it's actually categorized in Europe right now as a skin irritant. Any perfume, parfum is basically the word they use for artificial scent. It's considered and categorized as a skin irritant. It's not that like in the US right now, but it probably will be very soon.
Yes. And remember, you still need hydration even if you have acne. So the misconception is often that I have acne, therefore I'm not using a moisturizer. We disagree with that. The research disagrees with that. When you avoid using moisturizer, the skin automatically produces more oil.
Exactly.
So what happens is now you're actually creating more acne. So using a light but hydrating moisturizer is imperative to getting the acne under control.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can start by customizing, adding vitamin C, tretinoin, benzoyl peroxide, but all acids are inflammatory. So you really want to start with the least inflammatory method that you can apply that does not irritate for longer periods of time, and then slowly you can work up to the stronger actives.
Yeah. The one thing I'd recommend to a lot of people who suffer from acne is that, we're not looking to solve acne. It's not something to be solved. It's not something that you solve and move ahead and never happens again. You have to basically reach skincare equilibrium where your skin's happy and it just doesn't break out anymore. So it's something that we have to be cognizant of for the rest of our lives. It's something that happens with our skin. It's not a disease. It just is what it is.
But there are many reasons why we have acne, and one of them could be our internal well-being. So think of gut health. That can cause acne. So getting your gut in check, making sure that everything is sort of equalized inside your gut as well. can also contribute to skin equilibrium.
The key point is that you're not taking some medicine to solve it and then and then just kind of doing nothing afterwards. The key point is it takes a lifetime of maintenance to keep this the way you want it.
That consistency.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you, Peter, for that. I'm going to read the next question for Peter to answer. The customer's name is Janine A, and her skin type is normal. Her primary skin concern is fine lines and wrinkles and skin tone. And her skin stage, she's in the 45 to 50-year-old range, which we consider to be mid-mature. So her question is, hi, Saranghae, I've used retinol in the past, about 10 years ago now, but I've had to stop because it made my skin red and itchy. I'd like to try again, but it's so overwhelming and I don't know where to start. Can you help me understand what's right for me? Thank you.
Another great question. Retinol just happens to be probably the most popular subject for a Q&A. If we get 10 questions, I think like 4 of them are about retinol. And I understand why. Retinol has been around for about 60 years now, and it is probably the most well-researched and well-accepted form of anti-aging in the marketplace. So I understand why. All right, so let's start with this. Let's not get into the history of retinol. I'll just get right to what you should be looking for. There are basically 4 broad types of retinol that you can get on the marketplace. The first is called retinol palmitate. And there's a chemical derivative of vitamin A, or retinol, because retinol is actually, its other name is vitamin A. And it's the least irritating, but also the least effective of all the retinoids. So it needs to go through a 3-step conversion process to convert to retinoic acid, which is the active corrective ingredient that your skin can utilize. So retinoic acid is what you're looking for. Retinol palmitate is a derivative of retinol or retinoids, okay?
So in other words, if somebody had very sensitive skin and they've never tried retinol before, would that one be the first stop or the
Perfect.
first choice?
It would be the first one that experts would recommend if you are very, very prone to
skin irritation.
Yeah, irritating from a retinol. Yeah. But it's also the least effective. So you have to kind of balance that equation, right?
So would you be able to use it as a starting point to work your way up?
You could.
Okay.
All right. So next one is retinol, which is the most popular. The most common skincare is retinoid. It needs to go through a 2-step conversion process to get it to retinoic acid. So it goes from, retinol palmitate goes to retinaldehyde to retinoic acid. Retinol will need to form into retinaldehyde and then get into retinoic acid. It's in the middle ground for irritation efficacy. Number 3 is, let's get to retinoic acid. This is the most bioavailable of the retinoids, but only available through prescription. What
does bioavailable mean?
Bioavailable means it is the most effective for your skin. Your skin will basically utilize the highest percentage of retinoic acid for the efficacy of what it needs to do, skin conditioning to the skin. There's no byproduct, right? Or at least the very little byproduct. But it's only available through prescription. Tretinoin is a retinoic acid, right? You'll know them by the names tretinoin, tazarotene, adapalene. These are all very high and very inflammatory forms of retinoic acid. But what's interesting is the percentage of retinoic acid is like 0.005%. It's a very small amount. And it's very powerful, but it comes with a whole host of drawbacks like redness, peeling, irritation. And in some cases, if overdosage, there will be some health problems as well. So that's why retinoic acid is controlled by prescription.
Prescription.
Yeah. People have had some serious issues by overdosing on retinoic acid. Now, the last one I want to talk about is retinal. Okay, it's R-E-T-I-N-A-L. It's a short form for retinaldehyde. This is the newest retinoid on the marketplace, and it's the most powerful retinoid next to retinoic acid because it only takes 1 step to convert from retinaldehyde to retinoic acid. So it's the closest chemical derivative to retinoic acid, even closer than retinol. So retinal is supposed to be 11 times more effective than retinol, but with less irritation to the skin because it takes less concentration and less preservatives to stabilize the retinol. So it's more stable, more powerful, and less irritating.
Because of the there's fewer preservatives.
Yeah, it takes less retinol to actually do what it needs to do. Retinol, on the other hand, needs a higher concentration and therefore more stabilization. Okay?
So if somebody were to have normal skin and they wanted to try retinol, one of the four, what would you recommend they try first?
So I would actually recommend, from the research that I've seen so far to date, I think in the past, you would start with a retinol palmitate, and then you would kind of work up from there. Because, Andrea, you and I both tested the retinol because we're actually coming up with our own formulation, the retinol formulation at 0.1% in the next, 3 months. And we've tested, dozens and dozens and dozens of these formulations. And we found that retinol is the most effective with least amount of irritation. So today, sitting here today, my answer to that question would be to test with retinol. And I would start with, if you're very sensitive, start with a 0.05%.
Yes.
But if you think you can handle it, up even and start with a 0.1%. 0.1% retinol is the equivalent of a greater than 1% retinol, but with far less irritation. Because in our testing team, we all reacted to retinol, but we did not react to retinol at all.
No.
Which is incredibly exciting for us, right?
Yes, I have very sensitive skin, so I'm always hesitant to try. Testing new things is probably one of the scariest parts of our business because I often break out, and it takes me a little while to get my skin back. And retinol, all the different retinols that we tried were very harsh for my skin, except for the retinol that we did try and we are bringing to market. So we're very excited about that, especially for sensitive skin customers.
Yeah. So, just to clarify, and I recommend that all of our listeners today do some research on retinol. We recommend retinol right now, trying that as a gateway or entry point to retinols or retinoids. It's only one step away from retinoic acid in the conversion process. It is more effective than retinol with less side effects because you need less concentration. And again, I recommend starting, if you're really, really, really scared of retinols, start with a 0.05%. But for most of you, I think 0.1% will be fine in the concentration range. So, and lastly, before I, kind of drop this question, I would recommend customers who haven't tried, or listeners who haven't tried the Aurora Bioactive Collagen Serum, system, the serum and the cream, to give it a try, because although it's not an acid and it doesn't have the exfoliation aspects of a retinol, in clinical trials, it actually did show greater collagen and elastin expression as a percentage than retinol. So, and it's powered by
vitamin C combined.
Exactly. So it was really, really great in that sense. So I think it's something that everyone should take a look at because it is a non-inflammatory way of boosting collagen.
Yes.
All right. So those are the two questions. I think we leave it for here. Thanks very much. Thank you very much for joining us for Skincare Q&A. As always, we are your hosts for Love Saranghae podcast with Peter and Andrea. Peter Lee.
Andrea Murad. And we'll see you soon.
Until next time, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Love Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. If you've enjoyed this episode, leave us a review. Your ratings and reviews help more people like you find our show. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode and share this podcast with someone you think would love it. Until next time, love yourself, love one another, and love the world.